Hello guys, welcome to Geek Society. I'm Rona Prince and I'm joined by
Harneet.
there's news about that Disney, not Disney, Warner Media and Disney Discovery is joining.
Those are
Discovery is
merging now.
acquiring Warner Media and they will. I think the news is rumor, but news is they're gonna sell DC away
DC.
from
Yeah.
Warner. So I
So,
think what's your take on that, both of you?
So this is the kind of tragic thing that keeps on happening with
hmm.
Warner Media and DC Comics eventually, because they are related with them. Like even from the start, if you look at them, when AT&T acquired them, so Warner Brothers has a different vision, and then DC has its own mission with Jeff Johns and everyone, and then the parent company like AT&T has a different mission. Like they don't even
True,
care
true.
about DC at all. Like when they are selling to when they're selling Warner Brothers to Discovery is not looking to monetize on that kind of a genre. They have their own thing. Warner Brothers is not just related to DC. Warner Brothers is an entity of its own with a lot of
Yeah.
pretty good movies and pretty good IPs that they have of their own.
Harry Potter, they
Yeah, Harry Potter, for example. So
There are lots of good IPs within
yeah. So
Warner Media, actually.
most of the media that we have consumed before this OTT boost were from Warner Media. Everywhere
Yeah.
we used to see there were two logos, 20th Century Fox and Warner Media. So
Yeah.
that is the thing. Like Discovery is buying Warner Media just to sell the DC, which is kind of a lag for Warner Brothers for a long time.
Yeah.
DC Comics, they have been trying a lot of things. There were a lot of experiments with it, and they have lost a lot of money and a lot of reputation as well. So Disney doesn't want that kind of a baggage with WB. They want all the other IPs, and they want to just
Discovery.
sorry
Yeah.
Discovery.
Yeah.
Discovery just want
Discovery,
to just sell all the baggage of DC to someone else who can do a good job with it in the future as well. So I
Yeah.
think that will work out even if Amazon buys it or Netflix buys it. See, Netflix buying DC Comics is also a good thing, but I don't think that's gonna happen. It will also create a monopoly.
I think the problem with any of these streaming services buying, I think the DC, the thing is that we won't probably get to see these characters on the big screen.
No,
Because
like
I
No,
don't
Amazon.
no,
think,
Amazon
I
has
don't
his
think
own
that.
studio, right? Film studio. Like I think
yeah, but
not
like
Nomadland. No, some other movie was
like
like
especially something like a Netflix. Like I think Army of the Dead was one of the very few movies that got an extended theatrical release,
See,
like a 2 week
see
theatrical
Netflix
Netflix
release.
is
is
not even that interested in this.
Netflix. What they
Hmm.
do? It's like their motto is that we want to reach to 190 countries. The
Yeah,
only
Yeah,
reason
yeah.
they show movies before their service
Award
is
season.
that for the award, the movies which can go
Hmm.
to award season, so they do
Award
mm.
that
season, yeah.
to get
Yeah.
that all the checklist done. So
No,
they
but
do
that's what
that,
I'm
but
saying, we
yeah.
might, I'm not saying surely we will, but we
But
might
Amazon,
miss the
has
experience.
Yeah.
Amazon. I think
Amazon
Sound
is a
of
different
Metal or
story.
some Oscar movie recently,
Yeah.
was Amazon.
Amazon actually produces
So
movies which are not
Hmm.
released on OTT platforms.
No, but I was just saying that, that's the one issue that, because I think Warner Brothers, I think over the last 10 years, the leadership has been has gone on a downward spiral where
Yeah.
there's been a very big lack of vision. Because why is HBO Max only a thing that came up 3 years back? They still had all these IPs. They still had, like, they even licensed off Lord of the Rings to Amazon Prime, and now Amazon Prime is making that series. Like, you had such a good IP. Why did you license it out? I don't understand the logic. And maybe someone would say in the comments, like, correct me, or if I'm wrong, please do if I'm wrong. But so I think that lack of vision that Warner Brothers shows is, it's very disheartening for someone like me who always saw the WB logo before some of my very big childhood memories of like Harry Potter or DC or Batman Begins. Like, I still remember the WB logo. And if you even see the WB logo, they used to be so good that they used to change the logo according to the
Yeah.
tone of the film.
Yeah.
Like, that much level of creativity they
You
used to
know,
put. But now it's like nothing. They just simply show the
you know,
logo, and
you
even then you can see,
previously you previously
Hmm.
mentioned that you should not put all your eggs in one basket. That has been the motto of Warner Brothers. Like they have such big IPs that they don't want to bring all those IPs together in under one roof.
Hmm.
They can monetize by licensing those IPs for a limited period of time to different streaming services or different studios as well. Like Harry Potter, if they bring to HBO Max and then all the other IPs, Lord of the Rings, and then all the DC comics, that will
Hmm.
be that can be something that you are afraid to, if fails then
But that's something
all your hopes
what
go
something
away.
like Disney has done. That's something like what
Yeah,
Disney has done. They brought
yeah,
all the IPs together, and
yeah.
now it's like a big robust library. Like
Even
it's like everything is making money.
even Disney has not, brought, didn't bring all those IPs together for a long time. Like they have also thought, they have also this thought process that bringing all your big IPs together under one roof will all obviously stop a lot of money from coming in, but it will, create a huge fan base, a very, uh, dedicated fan base towards yourself, that you are doing the right thing. And it will also, it also creates a kind of supervision that all these things need.
they
Kevin
they
Feige.
True.
they have the money also, right? Like the most money these people make is from the
Yeah,
merchandising.
yeah,
That's where all
True,
the
true.
money is, not in the movie ticket sales.
yeah, yeah,
And with the the Disney's park and theme parks and all of
Theme
that,
yeah, yeah,
parks.
they have too
yeah,
much money to do it themselves instead of
yeah,
licensing their IPs
yeah.
to others. I think that's
If
what
you look at,
Warner doesn't have. Yeah.
even if you look at the Black Widow release controversy, like the only reason why they can't release on the OTT platform is because of the contract with Scarlett Johansson, which gives her some part of the revenue from the box office. So even if they didn't had the contract, they would have released it previously, and went on with all their other projects. The only thing they are stuck at, because it's of the licensing, it's not because of money issues or the box office collection issue. Even if their one or two of their movies don't get a lot of money on the box office, it won't even make a dent in their pockets. So
Yeah.
like, that's why they started these Loki show and the WandaVision show and the Captain America, just for the fans and to build up a new fan base, not to bring a lot of money in. Obviously
And to
it
build
will
that
bring in,
streaming service, right?
yeah, it obviously it will bring in the subscribers, but the subscriber can be built on basis of the Star Wars things and the Pixar and the all other things as well. So if you are, doing all this money and time, if you are spending it on something that will not be as profitable as a box office release, then there is a kind of vision behind it, as you said, which Warner Brother lacks.
Yeah,
Max.
but what's your take on it? Like, if Warner Brothers giving up on DC, I think that like they
It's
cannot, they
high
are unable to
time.
handle it. Whatever they do, they
Yeah.
are doing it wrong. Fans are
They
bad.
are.
Like already Discovery
I feel.
CEO and all, they are getting the Snyder cuts, and so the Snyder cut. So
I
I
feel
think
like
it's a
they
good
are
idea.
incapable of handling such good, not only IPs, they're incapable of handling good filmmakers also. They don't know how to manage, they don't know where to put, like which filmmaker to put for which type of projects. I feel like they keep struggling, and then they've even lost out. Like even Nolan doesn't want to work with
Yeah,
them. Like, no one wants, like, so
I
that's
think
not the
the
kind of story
C
WB was before.
they are removing the CEO, right? Someone like who
Yeah,
who
Jason Killer,
who
like,
took the decision that
because,
without even consulting. And I think
yeah,
with
the
Dune they have
same
made it
day
like
release. Yeah.
Dune they have like cut it out. It will be only exclusive theaters. So yeah.
So
Because you should have done that film by film. You should have maybe approached 10 film projects, and then maybe then you could have been like, okay, these 10 film projects will be coming exclusively. The rest will come maybe after 2 weeks or three
you
weeks,
can see a
something like that.
contrast between Disney's tactic towards filmmakers and producers and directors, and to Warner Brothers
True.
idea of bringing in directors. Like Chloe Zhao's option, bringing
Hmm.
her in before the movie was nominated for Oscars,
Yeah.
was something like Kevin Feige must have believed in her or seen her work before. Like, it's not like he can see the
I
future, but he can.
She
they
had one film, right? She
Yeah,
had
they
one film, right?
they didn't see Nomadland. Nomadland like
yeah,
came very
The
late.
yeah.
Like
other
That's
they
the
film,
were
right?
already
thing.
in
So,
pre-production when
Yeah.
Nomadland
so it's
dropped.
like Kevin Feige believed in something that might happen in the future and would obviously bring profit, because a title like Academy Award winner director will
Hmm.
always bring more audience towards your films, right?
And
Yeah.
And
that is
and
what WB used to do before.
and
Like
WB,
when they
in
brought
the
in
sense
Christopher
of,
Nolan and all,
yeah,
that's
see,
the
that's
mindset they had,
yeah,
before. Yeah,
that
go
is
on,
what
go
I
on.
was going towards. Like in
Yeah.
the Christopher Nolan's thing, they actually hit a home run. But when they
Hmm.
tried to replicate that thing with Zack Snyder, like from a visionary director like Zack Snyder, and then they did the same thing with Patty Jenkins, and same thing
Hmm.
with the Aquaman director. So they do bring the directors, but they don't know how to handle them. So
Hmm.
that's the kind of thing. Like, you bring someone who is already so famous that he'll not bend to your wills, and then
True, true.
Disney bringing someone who is not that famous but might be and still believing
Like
in them,
they
not
don't have
forcing
any
them.
creative supervision on the actors. They just let the actor
Yeah,
do. Like, they
yeah,
handle the
yeah.
economics,
I
and
feel
then
like they
they.
had it before. They had it before, but now I think as the movies have progressed, that sort of the control is like lessened and lessened.
Coming back to my question again, are you happy or sad that it's
About
going away
DC
from
being
Warner
sold.
Brothers? Yeah.
See, I'm very
Right now, I
happy.
am happy.
Yeah,
I
I'm
am
very
kind of
happy.
And
happy actually
who do you
because
think should get? Like, not like practical and all, but what do you think is the best according to you?
see, I
Is
Not
is
Disney.
Disney is
Not Disney.
Disney?
See, it
See,
would be a lot of
why I'm thinking
things.
Disney is that we may get
a
Marvel DC
crossover.
crossover maybe.
Huh,
So
huh.
That kind of a thing
See, I
can happen even if you are not in the same universe or under a same
huh.
studio.
see, it
See,
becomes easy, man. It becomes easy to handle the
True, true,
actors and
true.
all the the contracts and everything when they're
but
under the same thing.
see, Marvel is at a phase where it's already expanding too much. Like the Eternals
Mhm.
trailer, you look at that,
No,
it is.
we are thinking as if the Kevin Feige's turn to take over. No, no, they'll of course have the whole other team to take DC, right? But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like,
See,
but practically
no,
it
no,
cannot happen, right? You were saying
no.
that
Yeah, like so,
the
there is
All
a
the
government will not
law
legalities
allow.
involved.
in the
Yeah.
United States. There is a law whenever a company takes over another company, they look at certain aspects. There is a hearing of in the Senate hearing of both the companies.
Mhm.
If there is a pressure, the pricing, and then there is a law of creating a monopoly in the market.
Hmm.
Bill Gates was actually charged in I think 2000s for creating a monopoly of Microsoft in the market just because everybody was buying Microsoft computers. He actually had a monopoly of 90% and he was challenged by the US government. Although he won the challenge because it's not because of him that they are buying. People like his product and there was no other actual good product. But there is a thing in the US politics where if you create monopoly by buying others companies and others
Hmm.
IPs, you can't do that. You will be prosecuted for that. So Disney, even if it wants to acquire uh, DC, it will have to keep Marvel and DC separate for indefinite time. They can't bring them together.
See, I think there might be some kind of thing because if they're showing interest in DC, which is what the
See, that's
rumor
what
is
I'm
saying,
said. That's what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
Disney can't just bring
Hmm.
DC and then create crossover. They have to keep Marvel and DC IPs separate for indefinite amount of time. They can't just do that because it will create a kind of a monopoly. Because only competitor for Marvel is DC right now.
True.
Even in the shape and form they are right now, they are still they bring a lot of competition to Marvel,
Right. They
right?
still like the movies still do decently well,
Yeah.
like for the
If it
most part.
happens, it will be unreal, but it's like I think next year
Yeah.
possible.
No,
See,
it's
I
a
think
dream come true.
Yeah.
It will be a dream
true,
come
true.
true. But from a logistic point of view and from uh, looking at all the things that have happened
Hmm.
in past, like even the 20th century the Fox studios that
That was
Disney
also, yeah.
acquired, even
Hmm.
all the characters were already of Marvel. They
Hmm.
still had to go up through a process of at least 3 or 4 years
Yeah, yeah.
before they could
That's
even
true.
publicly announce that they were acquiring
Yeah.
Fox
That's
Studios.
true. That's true.
And
Yeah.
That's true.
still, if you are looking at like if we look at all the characters coming to MCU from that Fox universe, it will take 5 years at least.
Hmm.
And if we bring in DC as well and start crossing over, even if we start making different movies in different universe, DC cinematic universe, it will still take at least 5 6 years to do that. And we don't want
I
to
think
wait that long.
already the Disney Plus, Discovery and the Warner Media deal,
Warner
AT&T
Media.
deal will take like 2 3
Yeah.
years to
Yeah,
go through,
yeah,
and
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
they'll sell DC. Like it's a long process.
yeah.
It's a very
Uh,
long process.
yeah,
But I mean,
but
like, see, I wouldn't want Disney to get their hands on DC just because of the fact that I don't like the idea of both the big comic book giants being in the
Yeah.
hands of the same producer because I would like to see something different. So for me, I would prefer a production or a studio which would treat their filmmakers with a lot of respect and would understand their vision. So I would be okay with either Netflix or Prime Video taking the reins of DC if that's what's going to happen
I think
in
in
the future.
Paramount and Universal are also in the race, but I don't think so.
No,
They
I
I
can.
don't
don't.
want them.
Yeah,
I
they
think
know.
Netflix also is not a good idea to
Yeah, I'm not
DC.
with Netflix. Yeah,
The
I
Amazon
think.
Prime, if they go towards a different route, like they don't release movies on the OTT platform until after at least 6 months of their
That's the
box
thing.
office
That's the
release.
problem, right?
You know, then I'm okay with Amazon Prime
Yeah.
them producing the DC universe. No,
If
that's also a lot
Netflix,
of profit.
yeah, if Netflix gets their hands on it,
But
because these are not going to be award-winning films or anything,
yeah,
so you can't expect like Army of the Dead. I think was like a once in a blue moon thing where they released it in theaters for 2 weeks. I don't think you will see that with a lot of the other movies because they want to create that exclusivity. So, but on the other hand, I like the way how Netflix treats their filmmakers, and so
but
at least I would like
the
some
only
respect
reason
shown to these
the
characters.
only reason Amazon Prime Video or Netflix are trying to buy DC Comics is just to build their own OTT platforms to a next level to
Mhm.
gain
True,
more
true, true.
subscribers. They
Yeah.
don't have that vision to turn DC Comics into a DC cinematic universe or anything. The only kind of vision that would bring
But
would be a offline studio if that buys DC
hmm.
Comics, and I don't think there is any competition right now from a offline entity to buy that.
But I would argue that if they create a universe, then more subscribers they can build it a lot more. Like if that universe is actually instead of just not building a universe and just
But that will take a lot of time, if
that
they
will take a
start
lot of time.
if they
Time is
start
Still very
of
long.
course, time is the thing.
because
But
if they acquire, they'll
my
start making superhero films, even just under an year. I am sure of that. When the finalization is over, when the takeover is done, the Amazon Prime Video or Netflix, whoever takes it, what they'll do is they'll start on bringing new and new films just to bring on subscribers by the name of Batman or Superman. I know that, and it's very pretty good thing to do on a business level if you want to bring
but
subscribers.
they've proved themselves, right? Like some of the stuff is really, really good.
Hmm.
So
I heard even Apple TV is in the race to
Yeah.
buy
I don't
the.
want Apple, man. Please, no, not Apple.
See, to be honest, if I'm being very honest, until someone acquires it and until we see what they do with it, we
Yeah,
can't
it's
really
just
say.
speculations. Yeah, just speculations.
No,
We're
Yeah,
just speculating based on
just
their.
last thing I want to ask both of you, like forget who's buying. The deal is happening, like with Discovery, and they want to sell DC.
Hmm.
What will happen with all the HBO Max, Superman and Lois, DC TV shows? Like, what's their future? Will it like
one
what is
thing
the
we are
Flash movie?
forgetting.
The Flash movie, Shazam movie, Black Adam. Like,
One
I
thing we are
think,
forgetting is
yeah,
it's not just the movies and the TV shows. Like
games
DC,
also, right?
DC on its publishing comics,
animation,
is
comics, yeah.
it's a very big
Games
business
also,
of
yeah.
them. They earn more money on comics than the movies that they release. So, uh, Netflix and Amazon Prime, I don't think they can continue that legacy of the comics that DC Comics that has been going on for like 100 of years.
But
Like these,
like they'll have the department like Jim Lee's this right
Yeah,
who
comic.
handles the comics department the whole. So they'll let Jim Lee handle. I think they'll just be the supervisors kind of a
But
thing.
I think they don't have experience in those
yeah,
fields, right? Like handling, like even they
I
don't even
don't
have a
think
game publishing
anyone
thing.
from Warner Media is telling Jim Lee what to do. You get my point?
No, but I just feel like, like even now under Warner Media, there are like 5 game studios, like Rocksteady, NetherRealms, all of that.
yeah.
So and now actually when Harneet pointed out, even now I'm thinking that like, how would they manage that big? Because that those studios, their value comes in the fact that they make games based on this IP. Not full value, but still, they because of the
But
IP
They
attached.
also
So
then
make the merchandise for
then
that, and then they
yeah,
earn
yeah,
from that
yeah.
as well.
then the only ones left are Disney that they already
That
know
is
how
true,
to.
man.
See, if you look at Disney, Disney has what Lucasfilms, uh, National Geographic,
Marvel
Pixar,
Studios,
Disney Animation, Marvel
ESPN,
Studios, ESPN. So they are handling it
even
pretty well.
Hotstar, the Star friend like is
Yeah.
also
Yeah,
part of.
Star Family is also now part. So they are handling it pretty well already. Even the
That's
comic
true.
books, the plus the games, plus all the things. It's not like Disney is not handling the games or the comic books. It's handling all the
True,
things.
true.
It's just that Kevin Feige is only producing the movies and the TV shows. He's not related to any other projects. Like he's not related to
True.
the comic books. He's not giving any input whatsoever. Even if
Yeah.
people want him to give inputs, he'll decline because he doesn't want to interfere with other people's work. So
True.
if Disney comes on and buys DC Comics, as Nona said, it will be a different entity in all togetherness, and
Oh, yeah.
it's better to keep it that way. You don't want the PG-13 kind of goofiness to go on to DC because we are not used to it. And all the characters that are there in DC, I am not ready to see them
True.
in that kind of a light that MCU has. And like if you see Eternals trailer, Like Eternals is a different level after watching the teaser that came yesterday. So I don't see DC doing something like that. Even if they try to do it, they'll create a mess like Aquaman. So not bashing the Aquaman movie, but the VFX and the oversaturation that they did in the movie. So that was them trying to do that what Marvel is doing.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to do what Marvel is doing, you should be a separate entity under Disney that can handle all the comics book, games, and the movies and the shows, and
Yeah.
all of that will come at one place under Disney Plus Hotstar. So yeah.
I just hope we don't lose the IP in the, in the midst of everything. Like they're like, we get stop getting DC content, because I'll be very heartbroken as a fan.
That is a
Yeah.
possibility.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Marvel in the days back. Like they
Hmm.
had to sell Hulk to different
Universal.
studio,
Yeah.
Paramount
Universe.
Pictures, and then they had to sell
Spider-Man to
the
Sony.
Spider-Man to Sony and X-Men to Fox. So and the IP, when they were distributed to different studios, then it's very difficult to deal with all the studios to bring all the characters together. Like we are still waiting for a Hulk solo movie till date, and we are not going to get it
We're
until
getting She-Hulk,
Hulk,
right?
yeah, until the Hulk comes to MCU altogether.
Yeah.
So let's see where it goes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think a lot
It's
of
hard to say, to be
speculations we
honest.
talked about, and I think that.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, guys. We'll wrap it up here. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the discussion, hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't for more such contents, other reactions and reviews. So do that, and we'll see you next time. See ya.
Bye.